back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Kennedy and I'm a bridal stylist / wedding enthusiast out here in the beautiful Los Angeles, California. Normally, I will use this channel to talk about everything weddings, but today we're going to do something a little bit different, something I've been promising for such a long time, and I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to do it, but today I am finally going to do a hair tutorial for you all. You all have been so kind on my TikTok and Instagram commenting about how much you love the way that I curl my hair. I honestly don't think I do anything super special when it comes to curling my hair. I figured I would take you all through my hair care routine and what I use and how I curl my hair because you all seem to really vibe with it. So let's hop into it. So first and foremost about my hair care, I do a few faux pas that a lot of hair care specialists tell you not to do. The first and foremost is that I do sleep with my hair wet. I know you're supposed to let it dry before you go to bed, but my hair is honestly just so long and thick that it takes hours and hours and hours to dry. And I really try and use as little heat as possible on my hair, so I don't like using a hair dryer on it. Most of the time what I will do is comb it out after I take a shower, and then I will put it all above my head over the pillow as I'm sleeping. I don't move around a ton when I sleep, so it doesn't get super tangled or anything like that. And that works for me. For the actual shampoo / conditioner that I use, I actually try to switch up the brand and bottle every time I finish a bottle. I was previously using Oui, I think it's called. You can get it at Target. I wasn't a huge fan. It felt like it was just trying to give my hair a lot of extra volume. It wasn't giving me that smoothness that I wanted. So I let myself be influenced and I actually just bought a Prose package. I've only used it for 1 or 2 showers, but I'm really liking it so far. I've heard a ton of mixed reviews on it, and so I figured it was just something that I was gonna have to try. For me, I went for a silicone-free solution, and for a shampoo and conditioner that were really just going to be about helping my hair be a lot more smooth. I didn't really want to focus on volumizing or anything like that because my hair is already really thick and voluminous. So I wanted something that was going to help fight against breakage, fight against pollution, because I live in LA and pollution and smog is a really big deal here, especially when it comes to taking care of your hair. So I will review this at some point and let you all know how it goes, but I'm excited to keep using it. I like it so far, but we'll see what happens. One hair care product I do swear by and that I've been using for years and years and years now is this argan oil of Morocco. It's from Target. It's by OGX. You can see, and I just spritz it on the ends of my hair and on my hairbrush before I brush through after a shower. And I do use this on damp hair. I love this. I always have 2 or 3 bottles in my cabinet at a time because I honestly have just not found a hair conditioner leave-in that works as well as this does, especially when it comes to detangling, because my hair can get really, really, really tangled. It's also not just argan oil. It's this particular brand of argan oil. I actually tried to switch to a different brand that had better reviews, that was a little bit less expensive, but this is just, nothing beats this for me. So, but it's the only product that I can absolutely swear by, and I don't switch up ever. So I use this curling iron. I think I actually got it from CVS. It's not anything special. I don't even know what the brand is. I don't even think it has a brand on it. It might be like a Conair. I have no idea. It's T3. I want to say that this barrel is about 3/4 inch. It's not very big. I've heard a lot of people swear by using a wand, or I hate wands. I don't think that they work for longer hair. I've never been able to use one. I just think they're so annoying. So I do use a traditional curling iron that does have a clamp, but I will show you, like, I actually do use the clamp and I'll show you what I use it for. I do have a 1.5 inch barrel curler, but I only use that really when I'm trying to do a very specific style, whether it's like a super beachy look, or I'm only going to be wearing it for a few hours. This is what I like to use for my all-day curls. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to brush through my entire head of hair, just because it is a lot harder to curl your hair when it's tangled. So I just start down at the tips and then I make my way up to the roots. And I'm just going to comb all my hair out. I'm not super gentle with my hair. I feel like I should be more gentle, but I'm more just concerned with getting it untangled. I did not curl or do anything to my hair for the past few days because I wanted to show sort of the natural texture of my hair that I start out with. I showered last night and I've had my hair up in a bun all day. So the top of my hair is actually pretty straight right now, but you can see that I have a little bit of wave at the ends of my hair, and especially right around this area, you can see that I have a lot of waviness. So I don't have stick straight hair, which does sometimes make it, for people with my kind of hair texture, it makes it a little bit harder to curl. I never really had an issue with it, so hopefully my technique will help people who have the same texture hair that I do. And I just want to preface before I get into this that curling your hair and getting to know your hair takes a lot of practice. I used to be horrible at curling my hair. I remember one time when I was in high school, I was sitting next to my friend who I'm still really good friends with, and she looked at me and she just said, "Kennedy, I adore you, but you need to learn how to curl the ends of your hair because it looks like you forgot what you were doing halfway through." And it just honestly changed my life. It just takes practice. It just takes learning your hair. It's not gonna look perfect the first time or the second time. I've been curling my hair for upwards of 10 years now, and so I feel like I've had a lot of time to practice. So if it doesn't look perfect the first time, like, don't give up. My hair was horrendous for all of high school and the beginning of college, so we've all been there. The first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna split my hair and kind of put the top half up and away from the rest of my hair, so I can get to that under layer first and curl in sections. You want to put as little heat on your hair as possible for as little amount of time. I don't curl my hair. I actually don't put any heat on my hair unless I'm doing a video or I'm doing a shoot. Most of the time I do like to leave my hair natural, or I'll put it in like a bun, or I'll braid my hair the night before so it has like some natural wavy texture, but I don't like putting heat on my hair too often because, you know, it does cause a lot of damage. So I'm just gonna brush out the section that I put down one more time just so that I know that it's really, really smooth and there's not a ton of tangles or anything like that. And then I put my curling iron up to a pretty high setting just because I want to put it on my hair on the curling iron for as little time as possible. And just like the higher the heat, the less time that you have to leave it on so that it keeps that curl. I've curled my friends' hair who have super curly hair, who have super straight hair, and this technique works on everyone and it keeps their hair in a curl for a pretty long time. So hopefully it will work for you all as well. You can tell that this curling iron is a super cheap one because it doesn't even have the numbers on it. It has dots. You can put it to level 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots, or 4 dots. I have it at 3 dots right now. And usually that equates to if you have a curling iron that goes from number 1 to 7. Usually I just put it in the middle, probably like a 4. So I'm gonna take a small piece of hair, probably no bigger than this. Sometimes when you grab too much hair, you start to see where it feels like it's almost too much and it's gonna take up too much of the curling iron. So I don't want to take like more than a finger because this is just not gonna curl the way that I want it to. So I'll take about half of that. And I wanna make sure that the hair that I'm picking is all coming from the same layer. So I'm not like picking downwards like this where, do you see how my hair is now? There's all these layers coming through. If I'm gonna curl from the back, I just wanna pick up that top layer so that it all curls together and looks like one piece of curl, as opposed to curling more in those, you know what I'm talking about, when you see a girl's hair and it's like curls really flat and it doesn't look very natural. For me, I usually like to start from the front of my hair and work my way backwards. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little piece of hair. You can see how my hair is kind of already separating. This piece right here is separating in front, so I know that these pieces of hair are clumping together. So I'm just gonna take my curling iron. I'm actually gonna open the clamp and put my hair on the curling iron inside of the clamp. Be very careful. I know when I first started using this technique that I actually wore that glove that comes with a wand. I don't anymore because I've been doing this for so long now that I kind of know how to not burn myself. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the wand, I'm going to put it in on the curling iron directly and just close the clamp a couple times, and then I'm gonna let it down. And as you can see, it just creates like this nice little curl. So I only leave my hair on the curling iron for like 3 to 5 seconds. It's really quick. I don't wanna leave my hair on for too long because I just don't wanna cause any more heat damage than I have to. I'm gonna just go from top to bottom. You can see here when I grab this piece, like this is too big of a piece. If I try and curl this, it's going to pull apart. I'm not gonna like the way that it looks. There's pieces of the hair that are sort of already separating from one another, so I know that this isn't like a piece that's gonna curl well together. So I'm gonna take the pieces that I've already curled, just take them off the top, toss them over my shoulder. I'm gonna take the top piece and you can see it's already kind of starting to come together, and you'll see like as you're pulling from pieces from the top that the hair is gonna wanna stay together, and that's like a good piece that you wanna curl. So again, just going to curl my hair really quickly. And then I like to lean it so that my curling iron is sort of facing downward, so the curl just falls out of the curling iron and it keeps its shape. I've actually seen, like if you wanna do an even more natural curl, I've seen hairstylists who will actually unwrap the curl from the curling iron and it makes it lay even looser, which is nice. And then again, I'm just gonna start from the front, take like this little piece, and the smaller the piece that you use, the less time that you wanna leave it on the curling iron. Like I just literally wrapped it around, left it on for half a second, and took it off and it curled. I've worked with a lot of girls before, a lot of people with long hair before who have said, you know, my hair doesn't keep its curl, like I can't do it, and they keep it on for a really long time. But what happens is your hair actually gets more and more fried, and it's harder for it to keep that shape. So if you're constantly putting heat on your hair, whether it's curling it every day, straightening it every day, yes, it's gonna be a lot harder to get your hair to hold its shape. But if it's something where you don't use a curling iron that often, I find that it's actually a little bit easier to style hair because your hair is more malleable. So sometimes I will throw in some bigger pieces that I could maybe split up. You see here, there's already like a space where I can split my hair piece. I'm gonna keep these together. I like throwing some thicker pieces in there just to add some dimension to my hair. There we go. And I found with this technique that I don't actually have to brush out my curls after I curl them. Sometimes I feel like, especially when you're using a thicker barrel, you actually do want to brush out your curls afterwards. I haven't had to do that. So now that under layer is all done. Pretty, so now we're gonna go to the next layer. So I'm just gonna put my hair behind my shoulders, unclip, and I'm not gonna bring all of this down. I'm actually gonna split it in half again. So what I usually like to do, because that was my under layer, especially like the back of my hair, I'm gonna bring all my hair forward, and then I'm just going to split so that now the very top layer of my hair, that's what I'm gonna put up. So again, all the hair that I've already curled is kind of behind my shoulders. So I'm just gonna take a flat brush, and brush through the portion of the hair that I'm going to curl next. So again, from front to back, I'm going to curl this hair. So now as we're getting closer to the top layer of my hair, you can see that I have some curly pieces up at the front that I'm gonna wanna straighten. I used to be one of those people who would straighten my hair before I curled it. I cannot believe I did that. It does so much damage to your hair. And that's actually why I like using a curler that has a clamp on it, because if I see any pieces like this, I'll actually just take my clamp down on that part and sort of straighten it out using that. That is something that I would recommend practicing a few times when it's not hot, because it is a little bit harder to do, but that's just how I like straightening it while I'm curling. That way I don't have to put any extra heat on my hair by straightening it first. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the clamp, just run it through a few times, and then it's much, much straighter. So when I have a thicker piece of hair that I'm curling, I'll actually push up on the clamp with my thumb so that it encourages that piece of hair to stay even more curled. And I don't like to do like a really perfect curl on my hair, just because I feel like it looks a little bit more natural and a little bit nicer if you just let it be messy. I don't use any product in my hair before I do any styling. Like I don't use a heat protectant. I used to use a lot of like Garnier heat protectants and just invest a lot of money, but honestly, it's just adding product on top of your hair. And so when you put product on top of your hair before you put heat on it, it almost like melts that product into your hair. And I've just found that there really is no safe way to keep your hair from getting heat damage. Basically, the only way to do it is by being really careful and not putting too much heat on it too often. So when I get to the top layers of my hair, I'm actually gonna start pulling pieces from the back middle instead of the front, mostly because it's just easier for me to see when I do it that way. So if I start from the front, all of a sudden when I'm curling backwards, I start recurling hairs. But when I start from the back, I can just curl. And then throw that piece backwards. And now I only have the straighter pieces that need to be curled. I find that this technique is also really helpful for people with super long hair. Just because I know with wands, it can be really annoying when you have really long hair because it almost doesn't curl the ends of your hair as well. Whereas with this one, I feel like I can put my hair almost all the way back to the curling iron and the clamp actually stops it from going anywhere. Whereas with a wand, I feel like my hair was always almost wanting to fall off the other end and it wasn't curling the way that I wanted to. And also with this one, I feel like I can hold the end of my hair way further away from the clamp so I don't risk burning myself as much, but I still get the ends curled really nicely. So I've done all the under layers of my hair. Sometimes I'll do like a brush through with my fingers, but now we're just gonna do the very top layer of hair. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna toss back all of the hair that I've already curled. I'm gonna take the clip that I have holding my hair and I'm gonna clip back the hair that I've already curled so that it doesn't get mixed in. I'm gonna bring down the top pieces of my hair, which look ridiculous right now because they've been in the clip. I'm gonna brush through just so that it's super, super silky. I do believe in that old wives' tale where, they say second day hair curls a little bit better. I do agree with that. And not only that, but if my hair is just feeling extra oily, sometimes when I curl it, it hides that a little bit. I like leaving my little pieces for last. I had blunt bangs last year and they turned into curtain bangs. I haven't gotten them cut in a really long time for obvious reasons. But I like to style the short pieces last, just to see how they're gonna look with the rest of my hair. So I'm gonna start in the back, again with not a huge piece. I feel like people think that when you do smaller pieces, it takes longer to curl your hair. It doesn't, because the smaller piece that you use, the more likely that you'll only have to curl it once, where I found if you're curling with really big pieces of hair, like on a big piece, like if I do a huge piece like this, where it's basically my whole top layer, and I try and curl it, it's not gonna hold the curl. It's also gonna look ridiculous. Whereas if I take a much smaller piece, it's gonna curl much more nicely. It's gonna be on the curling iron for a lot less time, and it's gonna stay much better. I've had some people tell me that I should switch directions as I'm curling my hair. So I should curl one piece this way and the next piece that way so that they don't look too uniform. I don't. First off, I just won't remember. I'll do 3 one way and then realize that I have to switch and then switch halfway through, so my hair will just look ridiculous. But also, I just don't think it matters that much. I curl the left side of my hair underneath and the right side of my hair over just because I'm right-handed and that's easier and it makes it easier to curl the whole head of hair. But I don't think there's any, special way to switch up curl. And as you can see, now that we're at like my top layer of hair, I do curl really close to my head just because now that we're at the top, I want it to curl all the way from the top of my root so it looks like my whole head of hair is super, super curly. I do almost always straighten my bangs before I curl them. So I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna straighten all the way through once, and then I'm just gonna curl the ends. Cool. And then we'll come back to that in a minute because I'm not super happy with it, but. This cord is so obnoxious. And then again, when I get to my bangs, I'm actually gonna wanna straighten them out a little bit more before I curl them. And then I really do, when it comes to my bangs, only curl the end. I just think that when it's like super curly towards the front of your hair, it looks kind of funny, at least on me. And then I'm gonna take my hair clip out and I'm gonna bring all my hair to the front just so I can look and make sure that everything is curled the way I want it to be curled. I don't take a brush and actually brush through the curls themselves, just because if I did that, one, all the curls would fall out because I already did such a loose curl, and two, because my hair is naturally pretty wavy and voluminous, it would just make my hair poof out, which is the exact opposite of why we did our hair in the first place. But I am gonna just take these pieces, so sometimes you'll see like a piece of my hair is waving a little bit more than I want it to. So I'll just go over that again with the clamp and straighten it out a bit so that it frames my face a little bit more nicely. But I actually think that came out pretty well. So as you can see, my hair, because I didn't, switch the direction that I curled my hair strands, it's kind of all sitting together, which is really nice. And then if I flip it around, it just feels like one nicely curled mane. And voila! That's my whole way that I curl my hair. So obviously there's 1,000,001 ways to curl your hair. This is just one way that I do it. If you all want to see my looser beach curls, I can absolutely do a second tutorial with the thicker curling iron. If you want to see me do my full super curly hair, I can do it with a smaller curling iron. I also can show different ways that I sleep with my hair ups and the way that it dries the next day, different ways that I wear my hair naturally. But thank you all again for leaving such kind words about my hair. I know it's something that I was really insecure about when I was in high school and college, so it's nice to know that all of the practice has paid off. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I'm happy to post a second tutorial that goes more in depth or answers any specific questions that you might have. And I will continue to give updates on new products as I find them. And if you all have any recommendations of hair care products that have worked really well for you, or things that you think I should check out, feel free to comment them below. I'm always looking for new options. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye.